It says
All right, you're live. This is very exciting. This is Warrior Woman 91 coming to you live from somewhere in Northern California.
it's deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker in a non-secret building.
Yes, exactly. Just like Mark Levin.
Exactly, my hero. One of my heroes.
We are in a very secret, special location that nobody will find ever anywhere, and it is not snowing right now. So, just to introduce the viewers to myself, I am an almost graduated college student with an unhealthy obsession about politics, and I love to cause trouble on Twitter, in case you didn't notice, because if you, my viewers... Yes, exactly, just like Mark Levin.
Exactly, right? One of my heroes.
Yes. We are in a very secret, special location. Oh gosh, what is going on? Okay. We had a little bit of backwash, I guess you'll call it. Anyway, I love to cause trouble on Twitter, and as my viewers may know, that is why they are here, is because they love to listen to me cause trouble. So I think we had a comment section going, but if you guys can't get the comment section working, please send all hate mail, marriage proposals, and death threats to my Twitter site at WarriorWoman91. Please do that. I will endeavor to read every single disgusting one of them. All right, so today we are going to be talking to two of my favorite people from the Daily Wire. I'm very excited that they are here today. Amanda, and I'm just going to say Presto because I'm not even going to give an attempt at the last name right now. And Aaron Bandler. I'm very excited to have you guys. Say hello to the viewers. We have 2 live viewers right now.
Hey, everyone. How's it going?
All right. So just to get this started, I wanted to start off with Amanda. Tell us a little bit about what you do for the Daily Wire and kind of how you got involved in Ben's organization and so on and so forth.
Okay. Yeah, so I write for the Daily Wire. I cover mostly culture, but some news. It's a really weird story how I ended up getting the position. I wouldn't use the word stalk, but I followed Ben Shapiro on Twitter, and I obviously, looked at everything he was doing, and someone asked him for an email address, and like a crazy person, I screenshotted it, and I wrote up some stuff and sent it to him, and from there it kind of tumbled into all this. So stalk people, it helps you. Twitter's good.
Oh gosh, yes. Don't I know it?
Yeah, right.
I know, I'm the queen of stalking people on Twitter. Anyway, so what kind of political stories do you like to cover, or do you have to cover, I should say? Do you get to cover the stories that you like, or?
Oh yeah, for sure. I have a knack for ripping feminism, so that's one of my key things. I really like that. I have a great time doing that. So anytime I can rip on feminists, that's always a plus.
I think you mean feminazis, right?
What was that?
I think you mean feminazis, right?
Oh, yeah, like our man Rush. Yeah, feminazis.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
It's one of my favorite pastimes, so anytime I have a chance to do that, I'm all for it. I've always been a political junkie, anything. Everything's political, you can find the political angle and everything. So it's just a serious lesson, and especially feminists, that's my forte. So.
Yes. That's very exciting. Okay, now we're going to come over to Aaron. I know you obviously made national news with your op-ed calling out your college professor.
That was like 2 or 3 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's all I know about you, honestly. So okay, I want you to tell us what you're doing for the Daily Wire and what stories you like to cover.
Okay, so I got involved with Daily Wire because I'm an alumnus of an organization called the National Journalism Center, but it's basically like, it's part of Young America's Foundation, which of course is sponsoring Ben doing his college tours and all that. And it's a program where basically they send like conservative journalists to D.C., work for different news outlets. And when you're an alumnus of the program, they send you job alerts. And so in July of this past year, I got a job alert from them saying that Ben was looking for writers. So I applied. And then a month later, I got a call from the editor saying, we're interested, and we'd like to, and one thing led to another, and I ended up getting hired, and it worked out really well. And now I'm here working at the Daily Wire. I'm working at the Daily Wire here in Southern California, and typically what I write about is like 2016 stuff, a lot of 2016 stuff, a lot of the polls, analysis and all that. Also, a lot of domestic issues like guns, immigration, climate change, those kinds of things. So that's my brief little backstory.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah. That's a way better story than mine. And also, Tucker Carlson interviewed you, and he's like my favorite anchor of all time.
Yeah, so Tucker Carlson's awesome, and he's really, really cool in person too. He's a really great guy.
Oh, I'm so jealous. I love him. Best looking guy on TV, also. So.
I'll defer to you on that.
I'm totally thrilled to find people closer to my age that talk politics. It's very unusual for me because I am considered so out of control weird. It's so fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I can die happy now. I mean, honestly. Okay. So what I actually conned some liberal friends of mine. They're supposed to be watching this. So we can start with Aaron this time. I want you guys to kind of talk about why exactly you're conservative because, like I said, it's very unusual to find millennials that care about politics, let alone that are conservative. So, Aaron, you're going to take this one first.
Oh, well, it's simple. It's because I have common sense. But in all seriousness, it's a little more than that. It's basically, I'm very big into like individual freedom, individual liberty, and all that good stuff. I'm a big believer just being left alone and just kind of like fulfilling yourself to the best of your ability. And love of country, love of God, love of faith. Even I'm not an overly religious guy, but I do believe that faith is a good thing to have in a society. It's something we should be hostile to. So it's something that always just rang true to me. It's really just common sense stuff, and it's all about people just being free to be the best of their ability, and not the idea that we're central planners for everybody's lives. It just never made sense to me. And the more that I research and read about it, and I talk about it with people, the more validated I feel about these views every day. So.
See, I find it crazy. First of all, because I think you told me that you were from the Bay Area.
Yeah.
How in the world did you come out of there?
I'm very lucky that I was raised by a very conservative mother, and my grandfather got to me early by sending me Mark Levin's Liberty and Tyranny, Jonah Goldberg's Liberal Fascism, and giving me Description National Review. So thankfully they got to me before liberal academic, but I never looked back since.
There you have it. All right, so Amanda, you're over there in New York, I believe.
Yeah.
How in the world did you come out of there?
Yeah.
Well, my county is pretty conservative, but most of my influence is from my parents, my dad especially, big time conservative. So I kind of had an inkling for it through that, and then it's just individualism. That's kind of what rang true to me, and even as I was a weird little kid, I was always into politics. I always wanted to learn more. I was super strange in high school. I'd like debate my teachers. I'm a little combative. So once you learn the truth and you learn talking points and you see what's actual facts and what actually helps people, then you kind of by default become conservative because that's what helps the most, And then also social issues like abortion and stuff like that are pretty big on my rankings there. So that's how I'm conservative.
I cannot believe that any conservatives other than myself have ever come out of these liberal bastions. I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and mostly California is where I've lived my whole life. So I've been inundated with it constantly. Did you guys ever have the problem in college classrooms where you were the sole voice of reason among everyone else?
Oh my God. Yes, all the time. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I had a college professor at CSU East Bay come into. I was taking political science for the fun of it, and I got in there, and the first thing the college professor says is, "Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I am neither a liberal, I'm not a conservative, I am a Marxist, and I'm going to grade you based on that." So I dropped that class immediately.
Yeah, my very first college class ever was a journalism class. My professor, the first question he asked, like, does anybody here listen to Rush Limbaugh? I'm the only person raising my hand, and he says, okay, well, be sure to look out for that guy. We'll give you your gun in a second. and then he went on to basically say, like, you guys don't want to be like Rush Limbaugh, though this guy here would. You want to be credible instead. And like, I mean, that professor he's actually a really smart guy, and he always like respected my views, and he would like tease me about it sometimes. But otherwise, he was actually pretty good about it. I had far worse, of course, as you could just tell by the one-time in national news. So,
did you have any college?
Yeah, I actually had a teacher in high school that was really bad. Strange enough. She said that I either had to be a Democrat or fail. So I was like, screw you.
Oh, God.
So yeah, I mean, it happens even in high school, and I actually was a teacher for a while, so all of my colleagues were full-blown liberal. So that was always fun. To refute them. So.
Yes, that's actually how I kind of started getting involved in politics, is having a liberal college professor. I mean, I was a straight-A student up until this point, and he says, well, you wrote about gay marriage, and you gave me all kinds of scientific facts about why it's not good, and you know what? I'm going to put a D on this. So it's one of those things, yeah. College and conservatism doesn't really go together, does it?
They don't mix?
No, it doesn't. Not at all.
It's a real disaster. All right, so I really want to get into a little bit of a discussion about the current election. What did you guys think about Trump's move to skip the last debate?
Mixed. I feel like in one sense it's going to hurt him because I find the Iowa voters really value trust and integrity, and the fact that he didn't want to show up and answer questions really hurts his image in that regard. But at the same time, it was brilliant. And that there are all these different theories as to why Trump didn't show up. It's like, oh, he's just afraid of Megyn Kelly. He's afraid of Cruz. It's one of those things. It was as simple as with him not there, Cruz becomes the main target of attacks, and the whole debate was like 6 against 1 on Cruz. And it was. I mean, I'm a Cruz fan, but it was his worst debate. Let's be real. But not enough to hurt him. But it was his worst debate. And it was because it was 6 against 1. And that was really why Trump did it. And so what's going to come down to in Iowa is turnout, because it's going to be all about if Trump can turn out a bunch of new Republican voters. Right now, I don't think he can, because it doesn't look like there's been a decline in Republican voters in the past year. So I don't think that. So that certainly doesn't bode well for him. And also, turnout is typically determined by ground game, which Cruz easily has the best of any candidate. Whereas Trump's ground game is non-existent. It's all based on free media. So that's why I'm so confident that Cruz will win Iowa, but this whole election's been, like, unconventional, so, I mean, I could very well be wrong on that. But, so that's my brief little take on all that.
Yeah. I think Trump, obviously, his supporters, they're not going to be swayed by that. They don't care. They don't care what he does. Yeah. So him skipping his supporters, it's not going to have any effect on that whatsoever. Ground game is important in Iowa, so I think it could take a little hit off of him. I think he had his daughter, last I heard, trying to get people to register. They have to register as Republicans. So that's a kind of an inclination that something could go wrong, because people aren't even registered. So that might be an issue because, again, he just flies in, huge crowds, and then he leaves. So, Cruz has a way better ground game, and Rubio, I guess, is ticking up. And Cruz is attacking Rubio now.
Well, he had been the whole time, though. I think I would say Rubio is the more long-term threat.
Right. But he called him like the Republican Obama in an ad or something. I don't know. I just thought that was strange when Trump is crushing him. Maybe that's an indicator that the ground game for Trump is that bad that they think that they should need to focus more on Rubio. I'm not sure, but it's definitely not. Him skipping the debate was not about Megyn Kelly, of course. It didn't, especially with those attack ads they had during the debate. He would have got crushed.
Oh,
I believe they did that, by the way. Those attack ads were. Someone tweeted out, like, I think it was Andrew Clavin. Someone must have told Trump about the attack ads, the videos that they had during the Fox debate. Cause I thought that was pretty absurd, to be honest.
Some of those people they got in to ask questions too, like that illegal immigrant. She's like, telling people, this is how we came through over the border, and it was awesome, and we slept in garages, and it was just so fantastic. And these are the people that are supposed to be representing everyday Americans. I mean, well, I could have asked a better question than that. I mean,
I think any one of us here could have.
Yes.
Yeah, she was a Trump. She was a Sanders. She had like a Sanders hoodie.
Yeah,
on, like,
the Islamophobia question was so stupid. I actually wrote about that. I published it earlier today about that. But the whole thing's absurd. There's no rampant Islamophobia in this country. There are more Jews that are easily that are targeted by anti-religious hate crimes than Muslims. So if anything, there's more of an anti-Semitism wave going on than there is an Islamophobia wave.
I just really wish that they would ask questions of real Americans, and they never do. They always get the fringe, the ridiculous, the illegals, or the LGBTQ, whatever, ABC. I don't know what it is anymore.
At a Republican primary debate, I don't understand how. Yeah, I don't.
Right. It's and again, I think that was more Google than it was Fox. I mean, Google's had left-wing bent for a while now. I mean, Eric Schmidt, who runs Google's buddies with Obama, big-time Democrat donor. And if you Google anything, typically the first websites that pop up are the liberal ones. So, I think that was a mistake for Fox to partner with Google. They would have been better off partnering with like National Review or some other conservative website, because I think really National Review is the only conservative news site that was going to have a social debate. Now that's not happening anymore. And so it seems kind of odd to me how we're having a Republican primary, and yet more conservative news sites aren't being used, in debate formats. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. So, do you guys think there's still a chance for Cruz to come out ahead in Iowa?
In Iowa? In Iowa, yeah. I think there's a possibility because of that whole ground game situation. Yeah. I think that was definitely a chance for sure, and I think that could, help pick up some momentum. I mean, New Hampshire, Trump's going to win New Hampshire. I don't see that going any other way.
Yeah, I think the best we can hope for is for if Cruz win Iowa, and then for him to get second in New Hampshire, which right now he is actually second, barely, but he is a second in New Hampshire. So I still think Cruz will win Iowa, and then after that, hope for second place in New Hampshire. And even if he doesn't win Iowa, it's not the end. I mean, people forget that in 1976, Reagan lost the first 8 or 9 primaries, and people kept calling him to drop out. He didn't. And then they ended up going all the way to the convention, and Ford beat him ever so slightly in the delegate count. So, I mean, it's definitely not time to panic yet and or start, saying that Cruz's campaign is over, if he loses Iowa. So, I think Iowa.
Iowa is not going to be, it's never been a true indicator anyhow.
Right.
So.
I think it's more likely to indicate who won't be president at this point than who will. So.
But then again, this whole election cycle has been so unconventional that you never know. And the thing is that the previous 2 Iowa winners, like Santorum and Huckabee, neither of them had very little money and very little resources and ground game outside of Iowa, whereas Cruz really has a lot of money on hand and a lot of good infrastructure in place. So if he does win Iowa, he can gain that momentum necessary to win. So I think that if he does win Iowa, there's still a good chance he could win the primary if he can build that momentum with his infrastructure and cash that he has.
Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of questioning which order of questions we want to go in, but I really want to talk about Trump. And do you guys think that he could actually go on to win the whole thing? I mean, I personally think it's over. I thought that it was over after Sarah Palin endorsed him, but I'm incredibly pessimistic here because I was trounced. My poor heart was crushed in the 2012 election, and so I'm just looking at this from a very pessimistic point of view. I honestly think that Trump is going to sweep the whole thing, but what do you guys think about that theory of mine?
Well, if he wins Iowa, then it's probably going to be very hard to stop him. I don't think he'll sweep everything. I think, like I said, Cruz has a big campaign. It has very good infrastructure and ground game, and he'll definitely do well in the so-called SEC primary in March. for that reason. So, but I mean, I think Sarah Palin's endorsement may have definitely helped Trump to an extent, but I don't think it's the be-all, end-all. I mean, I think Cruz actually leads in Alaska. And remember last time Sarah Palin endorsed Newt Gingrich, and Newt Gingrich, I think that got him through South Carolina, maybe a couple of states, Super Tuesday, that was it. So I don't think that Sarah Palin's endorsement in and of itself means the end for Cruz and that it's going to be Trump. That said, I think Trump is probably more likely to win the nomination than Cruz is at this point, only because like he's the front runner in most of the polls. And the general election, I thought for a while that he has a good chance of beating Hillary Clinton in the general election because of the celebrity appeal that he has and the fact that his support is so broad. However, if you look at those favorables in the polls, they're like really bad. It's like -70 among Democrats, and like it's something similar for independents, and for Republicans like +27, which are really, I mean, let's be real, those are terrible numbers. And it's hard to win a general election with those kinds of favorables. So I'm not sure that Trump could win a general election. Cruz actually has the highest favorables of any Republican candidate among Republicans. So the idea that he's not likable, can't win a general election is just not true.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, Trump. If he takes Iowa and New Hampshire, I think that momentum is going to build. I mean, I'm a little pessimistic at this point too. I think that Trump is going to be the nominee. I really do. I would love for someone like Cruz, even Rubio, who is conservative, you know, besides immigration.
On some things, yeah.
Right. But overall, he really is. But immigration is a huge issue. So that's his Achilles heel for sure. But I kind of foresee Trump taking it. His supporters are not going to leave, and if he builds momentum with those first two, and I mean, if we're talking about general, I always kind of thought he would have trouble in a general. A lot of people don't, but his unfavorables are huge. I mean, 60% was one of those polls I just looked at. That's out of any candidate, either side, he has the highest unfavorables. And I know it's because he's so well known because he has celebrities. People know who he is, and they have a reaction to Trump. You have a reaction to Trump no matter what. It's never It's either good, you know, terrible, or you love him. So I think that contributes to it, but I mean, the Clinton machine, even though Hillary is just dripping with scandal, and she's a terrible personality, and she's just awful in front of the camera, she's not even like a real human, she's a robot, I still get a little bit nervous with Trump as our nominee.
So why do you guys think Trump's unfavorables are so high at this point?
Because he's so divisive. I mean, like, most of the attacks that he has are personal, and just want to be a bunch of stupid losers, basically. And when you go after Cruz for not being, I mean, just yesterday, like, Trump called Cruz an anchor baby, which is incredibly stupid and asinine and a huge personal attack. The whole birther thing is just like, it's. When you think Trump can't get any dumber, he just continues to get dumber with stuff like that. So the fact that he's been overly divisive, I think, is probably why his favorables are so high. I mean, it's either you love Trump or you hate him. There's no in between.
Yeah. I think his celebrity has a lot to do with it because, again, there's name recognition there for everybody. Every single person knows who Trump is, so they're going to have a reaction. Some other people might not have as high ratings one way or the other because you don't really know. If you don't really know who they are, like, who the hell is Kelly Fiorina, right? So a lot of people don't know. Besides us, we're junkies. But they're not going to have, no, I hate her. You have a reaction to Trump because you know who he is. But again, I mean, Hillary. I mean, the last poll I saw for unfavorables, Hillary was, I want to say, like 55 or so, or no, 52, which is pretty high for unfavorable because she's so well known. But Trump, like I said, as a celebrity, you're going to get a little higher uptick, and because he does have such divisive language. And conservatives do not like when he attacks Cruz. I mean, they really don't. Unless you're a huge gung-ho Donald Trump supporter, hang on his every word, they don't like it. I mean, I even wrote a quick piece where he said something about Trump, and he was booed in Iowa at one point. I mean, Cruz is by far the most conservative candidate, so attacking him like that, calling him a Canadian anchor baby, does not bode well, and it will give you someone favorable. So.
Aaron, did you have anything to add to that, or?
She covered it.
Did you already? Okay. All right. I kind of feel like with Trump, he almost over Obama's placed in the spotlight, kind of how there was like Obama mania, and he was the celebrity, and he was the guy, and who was going to part the Red Sea, and he was going to take. Oh my goodness! I started college that year, the first year he was in office, and it was like worship him, worship him, worship him. And I think that Trump has a little bit of that, not nearly as much as Obama did, certainly, but he's definitely got some of the almost maniacal following kind of thing, the cult following.
Messianic complex.
And I think that's really.
Oh, so if you want to,
kind of like that, as much as Obama. It's kind of. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Are you talking about like why people like him? Because there are tons of reasons to like Trump. There really are.
I'm more so talking about the kind of the like Aaron said, the messianic complex kind of thing, but it's more so of the cult following, the almost like the Ron Paul types, there are some Rubio followers that are just worshipful of their, so they care. Yeah, they care more about the person, I should say, or the celebrity status of the person rather than the actual issues that the person supports. And I think that's why Trump can say or do anything. As he said, he could shoot somebody and his followers would still vote for him. So, yeah, if you guys wanted to elaborate on that a little bit.
Okay, well, it's really not hard to figure out Trump's appeal, and even the Messianic complex. It really comes down to the fact that right now the country is declining, and the federal government is constantly devouring more and more of the civil society as each day progresses. Every day we wake up, and the circle of liberty continues to tighten every day, little by little, and. And for years now, we've had Republicans, get elected, say they're conservative, say they're going to change things, nothing ever changes. I mean, 2010, they ran. The single biggest issue in 2010 was running against Obamacare, saying they'd fight it, and then they didn't. And then 2012, we ran the guy who basically gave us Obamacare against Obama. So obviously, that's why we lost for many other reasons. 2014. The Republicans said that they were going to fight Obamacare, fight against Obama's executive amnesty, and they get elected, and nothing happened. That they don't fight. And then for years also, I mean, like we've had conservative organizations and news outlets and think tanks in D.C. And where we think represented, and then it's just nothing changes. Like no matter what happens, nothing ever changes. This was despite the promises that people make. And so when Trump comes along and starts saying, these are all a bunch of stupid people, America's losing, let's make America great again, all of a sudden that's sort of like that anger that people have that they're losing the country, all of a sudden like they can be easily swept up into somebody like Trump who is channeling that anger. And so basically what comes down to what I'm saying here is that Trump is basically a product of D.C. not listening to the American people. And that's why it doesn't matter how much we criticize Trump or how we talk about how not conservative he is. It doesn't matter because people's anger is at D.C. It's at the establishment. And so Trump is not the problem. Trump is symptomatic of the problem. He was created by D.C. So if there's anything that's going to stop Trump, it's going to be doing what Cruz is doing, which is linking Trump to the people in D.C. and how he's really a creature of the establishment rather than fighting against it.
Yeah, and I would just add to the other thing. So you're spot on, right, Aaron? And the other thing is, of course, you know this too. And of course, the other thing is he's just a big FU to PC culture, and people are so sick of it.
Yeah.
If you listen to Trump supporters and they say, "Why do you like him?" He says how he feels, where he doesn't mince words, and they cannot stand those political games, and it kind of comes from the establishment as well. So this big FU to political correctness. That's what Trump is, and that's why people are clinging to him. So it doesn't matter what he says. The more outlandish he is, the better, because he's sticking it to the PC culture and to what we can't say. So that's another big thing as to why people are with him. And then also there's this other side where we have conservatives, like true conservatives, liking Trump. And it's because I would have to say, I mean, I spoke to someone who writes at the Daily Wire too, and they were talking about Trump is a certainty. Like Trump will get us a win, and we need a win, and that's kind of how they see it. That might be true, that might not be true, but a lot of people will see that. Look at his crowds, look at his polling. we need to win. Over anything else, we cannot have another 4 years of Hillary Obama. If this guy can win, let's get him in. So I think it's like those three components. Screw the establishment, screw PC culture, and we need to win over anything else, because otherwise, we're on the precipice right here. So
and Rush Limbaugh back in November when he was on Frosty Sunday with Chris Wallace, he said that Trump does have value in that he does fight against PC culture and against the media too. Yeah. That's the main thing. It's the fact the media keeps trying to attack him, and then he basically tells them to shut up, and then it works. And I think he does have value in that regard, and he does highlight some important issues. Like early on in the campaign, when he was talking about immigration, highlighting sanctuary cities and birthright citizenship. It was for years we've been talking about those things, but never got that kind of hyper-focused attention from the media until Trump brought it up. And I think in that sense, I think he does have value. That's why early on I did like him to an extent, because he was providing those things for us. But now that he's becoming more and more establishment, it's made me and others who are more conservative more and more disenchanted with him. And but it goes back to what you're saying. Why there are still some true conservatives who still feel that Trump's value in that regard may be more important than like his views on eminent domain, or ethanol, or his creating a donation to Democrats and so forth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people, as I've talked to Trump supporters, there's actually a lot of them where I live, that they think that they like Cruz, but they don't think he's going to win, and they don't, he gets attacked by the media so often, and he actually has in the past been hurt by that, I think. So there's a lot of people out there that just think that Trump is the only one that can go over the heads of the media and not have to deal with that kind of thing.
Right, but I do...
So...
Okay.
No, go ahead.
Well, no, I was just going to say I do feel like Cruz can win, though. And it does bother me a lot when people say, oh, he can't win because he's too right-wing, he's too conservative. However, people don't realize that was exactly the same thing they said about Reagan in 1980. And no, I'm not comparing Cruz to Reagan, but Cruz and Reagan are alike in that they're both conservative figureheads who took it to the establishment and the media and the Democrats, and were constantly under attack to saying, the too right-wing can't win. And even like leading up to that election in 1980, Carter was up like 9 points at the polls, and Reagan wins 43-state landslide, and then wins again 1984, 49-state landslide. And if you look at the biggest landslides in general have been when conservatism has been articulated effectively and the message has been brought to the people, including the Reagan landslides, including the 1994 congressional elections, the Contract for America and all that. 2010, the Tea Party elections against Obamacare, another good example. And 2014, again, running against the Obamacare and Obama's executive amnesty. When conservatism is articulated, it typically wins. Unfortunately, the establishment doesn't see it that way. They always think of Barry Goldwater, 1964, losing a massive landslide. But it's not comparable for a number of reasons. One, people don't realize that Barry Goldwater was less right-wing than Reagan. I mean, Barry Goldwater was socially liberal, pro-abortion, pro-gay marriage, pro-weed legalization, and he actually endorsed Nixon in 1968 and endorsed Ford in 1976, both times over Reagan. Also, the country during the 1964 election was a third liberal. Today, it's a fifth. And by the way, just as a side point, conservatives have always outnumbered liberals 2 to 1 in the country. We're a plurality, and we should be winning, but we don't because we keep running these stupid Republican swishes. But the most important thing about that 64 election was the fact that no Republican was going to win that because JFK had been assassinated. And so if we had run Nelson Rockefeller or some other liberal Republican, they would have lost just as bad as Goldwater did, if not more so. So unfortunately for the establishment, 1964 Goldwater defeat is not applicable. And that's why I think that that Cruz, because he is conservative and can articulate it well and has proven to stand up for it in the Senate time and time again, despite being attacked ruthlessly by the establishment and by the media, that yes, I think of course he could win, and he would easily beat Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders or whomever in a debate easily. I am confident that Cruz could win.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think Cruz could definitely win, and I think, of course, I've always thought Rubio could win. I'm not a Rubio fan. I'm a Cruz fan for sure, but Rubio does bring a lot to the table. He is very electable, and I think he could wipe the floor with Hillary, and I think so could Cruz for sure. But like I said, I think there's this kind of like pushback. There's this holdback from people who think that Trump could they want Hillary to lose so bad. Some people are just hesitant and think that Trump's the guy to kind of put everyone in place. Mm-hmm. But I definitely think Cruz could win. I don't think that if he was the nominee, I think for sure he could take on Hillary.
Right, and I do agree that Rubio is electable to an extent. My only concern is, again, immigration. It's not just the fact that it's a bad position, but it's also because we need the Reagan Democrats to turn out. And the big reason why Reagan Democrats are blocking Trump is because of immigration. And Rubio is really, really bad on immigration. And despite what he tries to say, like about Cruz having the same position as immigration as him, it's not true. I mean, when it comes down to it, I mean, Rubio not only voted for the gang invade, he advocated for it heavily and fought against any amendments to improve it. And Cruz did everything he could to fight against it and ultimately voted against it. Yeah, so I think the immigration thing will hurt Rubio in the general election.
Okay, I just want to interrupt for our viewers' sake. If you guys have any comments or questions, I don't think the chat is working, so please send them to @WarriorWoman91, and if we have time at the end, I will ask your questions to our wonderful guests, who are very lovely. All right, so let us move on to, do you guys have any predictions for primary winners? Who do you guys actually think is going to win Iowa and New Hampshire and so on and so forth, and the whole thing?
I think Cruz will win Iowa. I think Trump will win New Hampshire. From there, all bets are off, because I think the main thing to keep an eye on New Hampshire is who wins second. Because if Cruz wins second, I think it's probably a two-man race at that point. If Rubio or, God forbid, Jeb Bush or John Kasich win second, I think they're going to be the establishment candidate that will be making a three-man race going forward. It should be noted that the establishment has an inherent advantage, unfortunately, because most of this, like in the latter half of the primary, is most of the blue states come, and they're winner-take-all states, whereas the more red states, the southern states, are proportional, or reward delegates proportionately. So unfortunately, whoever the establishment decides to get behind is going to have an inherent advantage, just by the way the primary is set up. The good news for us, though, is the fact that because the more conservative states are early, that it does give someone like Cruz the advantage in that, like, if he does dominate, as I think in those states as I think he will, it will give him the momentum. It'll give him a lot of momentum going towards that half of the primary, and the momentum may be too hard for an establishment candidate to stop. So I really don't know who's going to win the whole thing. I mean, right now my guess would be Trump just because he's leading the polls, but it's really hard to say. This is the first I'm going is if Cruz wins Iowa, Trump wins New Hampshire, keep an eye on whoever wins second place in New Hampshire, and then we'll just have to see from there.
Yeah, Iowa, I think I want to say Cruz so bad, but I'm so pessimistic that I think it's going to be Trump. I really do, which blah. So I think we're going to see Trump in Iowa. Unfortunately, I would love to see Cruz. But I just got this feeling Trump's going to take it. He's going to take New Hampshire for sure. Kasich is second in New Hampshire, which is the scariest thing in the world.
And some polls. Hold on, wait. The Riddler politics poll. Yeah, I saw that.
The editorial page just endorsed him, so now we know who the establishment likes. Now we know they're gonna drop Jeb.
New York Times endorsing a Republican. It's like that means you stay as far away from him as possible.
He's an idiot. He tweeted out that he was proud, like so happy.
Oh yeah, I would not take that as a badge of honor. They're just like cases like his arms. They always just look like they're just trying to be in the rope. It's like I can't even watch him anymore taking it seriously because I'm looking at his arms the whole time, going like this. It's and then Jeb, I just want to like push down his shoulders. Like relax, dude. Just calm down. I'm so uptight. Jeb is like one of those like awkward professors you have in college that's like it keeps droning on and on. And the whole time you're sitting there just like, okay, when's this guy gonna stop? You're looking at your watch, and like, in this case, this guy can just stop. It's like, is he trying to make a point here? Because it's just so
those are the moments where I like make my grocery list. Like when Jeb talks, I make my grocery list.
Yeah, exactly, right. I will say that Cruz is actually second in the Real Clear Politics polling averages for New Hampshire. So
really, I just looked. I swear. And Kasich got those 13 Kasich, 11 Cruz for Real Clear Politics.
I'm taking a look now. Because I didn't check today. Oh, God, you're right. Okay, he's second place. So But it's close. It's still close though. So I think second place is certainly for grabs.
Yeah. At least if Kasich wins, we'll have somebody who will be dependable to deliver our mail because his father was a mailman.
Mailman, yeah, exactly.
Oh gosh. Not the mailman. Okay, this is actually kind of a random little inserted question that I just wanted to ask. Have you guys actually had an opportunity to meet Cruz or any of these guys before at all?
Yeah, so I met Cruz at CPAC last year. It became very brief because like it was one of those things. You get in line, you shake his hand, take a picture. And I actually told him that I've been a fan of his since I first heard him on Mark Levin's show in October of 2011 when he was only 2% in the polls in Texas. And I told him that I think he made a great president. He just said thank you, and then went on to post the next person. So let's see. I met Cruz. I met Dr. Carson, and that's funny how I met him because my first media job was with Armstrong Williams, who, as you may know, is his longtime friend and business partner. So I've seen there at my desk one day, and I look up, I see Dr. Carson, his wife, like walking right towards me. I'm like, oh my God, this is Dr. Carson, I could barely react because I was kind of like I was just shocked that was happening. I got a picture with him and his wife too, which is pretty cool. A really nice guy, but and his wife is pretty nice too. Met Carly Fiorina once briefly, and I want to say met a couple others, but yeah, I think those are the ones I've met who are running. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually close personal friends with Ted Cruz. I'm just kidding. I've never met anybody. I don't have any stories. So thanks, Aaron. I look like a loser. But yeah, no, I've never met a soul. Nope.
I actually got to meet Ted Cruz's dad. He came and did an event somewhere nearby this super secret location where I'm in.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was funny because I had forgotten that he was straight up Cuban, and so he sounds like Desi Arnaz. And it was so awesome. I was one of the only people under 55, I think, that was there. I think there were 3 of us that were under 50 or so. And I went up to him to say hi, and he's all, oh, it's nice to have a young person at one of these for one. So I think that was like 2 years ago or something, but that was pretty exciting.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, and I brought my sister back because they had a repeat event, and
oh, nice.
She's 8 years younger than me, and he came up and gave her the biggest hug ever, and she wants Ted Cruz to win so bad because she can say, I hugged the president's father.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That was so awesome. Yes, so that was just kind of a random rabbit trail question, but I really did want to hear who you guys think is going to win the general. I know it's kind of early to be talking about this, but I like to talk about it anyway. So who do you guys think is going to take the general?
It depends who wins the primary, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, certainly Hillary is the favorite, and actually, you know, Ben thinks that no matter who wins, the Democrats are going to win regardless, just because of the electoral, the inherent electoral advantage that the Democrats have. But unfortunately, he has. I mean, and Ben does have a point because, I mean, it's like off the bat, Democrats automatically get like 240, 250 electoral votes just because they get California and New York and so forth. There's like very little room, very little margin for error for Republicans to win. So I think, unfortunately, Hillary or whoever the Democrat nominee is going to be the favorite. That doesn't mean for sure that they'll win, and I'm confident that if we nominate somebody like Cruz or Rubio, then I think that they have a pretty good chance at winning. So, but for now, I think we have to brace ourselves for Hillary, unfortunately. But you know, there's still time.
Oh, you're making me upset.
I think I don't know. Part of me is pretty optimistic because I do think Hillary is beatable for sure. I really do.
Yeah, she is.
She's just not likable. She's just not likable. There's a lot of things. But also, I get a little nervous with whoever is. Let's say it's Cruz. Let's say it's Trump. Do those Trump supporters turn out for Cruz?
Yes.
Do those Cruz supporters turn out for Trump?
And they do, because like Cruz is every candidate's second choice, and that includes Trump. And most Trump supporters I have met said like, you know, Cruz is my number 2. So I think they do turn out for Cruz. Rubio, that's a little more debatable, but I think Cruz for sure.
Yeah, well, that's comforting. So I mean, if we get that, thanks, Aaron. If we get that and they do turn out, then I think for sure I really am actually. I'm very pessimistic, but for this election, Cruz or Trump, I think that we could take down Hill.
Well, let's hope so. I think it's definitely possible because you're right. I mean, Hillary is not likable. You notice how the Democrats host their debates at the most least watched times, like a Saturday night or Sunday night, well, they're during football all day, which I think most people would rather watch football than Democrat debate any day. Yeah. I definitely would. I'm a huge football fan. Go Niners. And the reason why they do that is because the fact that the more Hillary speaks, the lower her poll numbers go, and that's why they try to hide her and stuff like this. Because the DNC does want Hillary to win, and that's why Bernie, as much as he's a senile old. Well, I shouldn't say that, but he's senile old. I was gonna say something really derogatory, but he's a senile old. Because he's a senile old, even though he's a senile old man and a crazy Marxist, he does have a point that the DNC is in favor of Hillary, and I think it's funny to watch him and his supporters be at war with the DNC. So the DNC will try and push her through this process, and they're doing that by limiting her exposure as much as possible. So it does give us an inherent advantage because I think any one of our guys can easily exploit Hillary's unlikability and the fact that she's a terrible campaigner.
I agree. These Sanders fans, I almost feel bad for them because I have a close friend who is a Bernie Sanders fan, and he believes he's going to win. He is going to win, and
it's not going to happen.
Yeah, no, it's not.
It's just not. The DNC will never let that happen.
It's never.
Over the DNC's dead body. It's not going to happen. Hillary will get to that White House or die trying. She's like the 50 Cent candidate. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just too old. But I just feel bad because they're donating money and they're doing all this, and I'm like, wasting your money. But at least it's going to a candidate that won't win. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, so. We already kind of touched on this, but I kind of wanted to talk a little bit more about whether Trump is electable or not, because if he does win the nomination, I think that the idea is that he would be able to jump over the heads of the media and he wouldn't have to deal as much as other Republican candidates have had to deal with media attacks. I mean, because obviously it kind of rolls off of his back. Every time somebody, oh my gosh, he said something about John McCain, oh, it was evil, and then he spikes in the polls, So I think that is his main advantage, but do you guys see any huge disadvantages to him running against Hillary?
No, yeah, it's really goes back down to the favorables, and the fact that he's so low in them, and the fact that, I mean, he is buddies with the Clintons, and has been for many years. And I could see Hillary running a lot of attack ads of Trump saying how wonderful and great she is back in 2009 or whenever it was. So there are disadvantages there. And Trump has been pretty critical of Hillary. And I think pointing out Bill's philandering escapades when Hillary launched sex attack was a great move. And I've been waiting for a lot of Republicans to do that for a long time. However, if you remember back when the Benghazi hearings happened, Trump commented on them, and he said something like, it looked very political, and Republicans didn't do very good from them. It didn't look good for them to attack Hillary like that, which was I wrote an article at the time about that. I remember when Ben assigned it to me, he wrote WTF in the assignment section just because of what a weird attack it was from Trump to say that. So I do question how hard he'll go after Hillary. And in general, and the fact his previous support for the Clintons and his kind of favorables does give him a disadvantage in general. So there are concerns there, and so I'm not sure he will win. But there is a chance that he does win a landslide because of his celebrity appeal, and because of how well he talks to the American people's level. So I mean, we'll see, but I'm definitely skeptical of his chances.
Yeah, I think the unfavorables are huge for sure, but people who are going to like Trump are going to be attracted to Trump and vote for him. They're going to be locked in no matter what, even if there is so much material to go after him, everything he says in the past, park with fortune, all that good stuff. There's tons of things to hit him on in his relationship with Hillary, etc. But I think he does have a chance because good conservatives, people like us, we're going to vote. I'm going to vote for Trump over Hillary. I'm not going to stay home. So I think I think he's going to get us no matter what, and then he's going to get people. He does widen the net for sure, and it's ridiculous to think that he doesn't. I mean, he gets more independents. He does get people blue dog Democrats for sure. So he might be able to pull it off. He might, even though some variables are high. I think he could still. We're still going to turn out. The people who don't like him, like me, I would still turn out for him over Hillary.
Yeah, I think I saw that he had like 20% of Democrats in favor of him or something like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's the Reagan Democrat. Yes, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. He's definitely cast a much wider net than a lot of other candidates. So I think the main issue in this election is immigration, and so I wondered if you guys wanted to talk a little bit about why that is the main issue of this election, and kind of why it's certainly driven Trump's campaign as well as others into the forefront.
Well, for a number of reasons. I think a big part of it is that Obama has. I mean, you hear all the time of this gridlock in Washington, but there's really not, because Obama has got most of what he wants, and I feel like while immigration is part of that, I mean, there's certainly it's not like the end of it, because he has given some amnesty, but not amnesty for the full 11 million or plus that are here, and a lot of people, all the blue collar workers that are Reagan Democrat types. I mean, immigration's big to them because, I mean, it is the cliched line. It's like the illegals and the are taking away the American workers' jobs. But I mean, it is true, and nobody understands that better than the blue collar workers who are Reagan Democrats. And it's like Rush was saying. It's why to them it's the most important thing, because I mean, like if people talk about how Trump supports single payer, well, we have Obamacare already. So, so in the minds of the Reagan Democrats, what matters more than its immigration, and the fact that if amnesty is given to the full 11 million plus, whether that's by like a President Rubio or a President Clinton, then basically the country goes the way of California, where Republican just becomes unelectable. And the fact that immigrant surveys clearly show that it's like 5-1 or 4-1 in favor of Democrats when it comes to immigrants, legal and illegal. And so I think we take that into account with the fact that workers' wages are being artificially lowered because of illegal immigration, and legal immigration too, for that matter, and they are taking away jobs from American workers. That's really why it has become such a big issue, given the state of the economy and all that.
Yeah, it's definitely that for sure. It's definitely jobs being taken away. People are feeling it, so that's why it's a huge issue. And then this is kind of, I don't know if this is true or not. Rubio said that he's hard on immigration now as opposed to before because of the times have changed and there's more terrorism. So maybe some people look at that as tightening up our borders because of terrorism's on the rise. So that has something to do with it as well. And then you have conservatives. I mean, Ann Coulter will tell you that is the single issue. I think she literally said Trump could perform abortions in the Oval Office as long as he closes up that border. So a lot of people are, because of the voting demographics, like you said. So if we do have all this amnesty, it's not going to help our party, and that's the truth. So I mean, it's going to definitely change demographics in voting. So that's why it's such a key issue for those three reasons. It resonates with people because they're seeing their jobs being taken away. Definitely terrorism will maybe play a part in that, and then conservatives obviously know it's a key issue. People who are in this is because of how it's going to change our electorate.
Right, and the terrorism is really a key thing, which I forgot to mention. So thank you for bringing that up. I mean, the thing is that people talk about being national security hawks all they want, but unless you secure the border and clamp down on immigration, then you're not serious about securing the country, because it's just common sense that you would secure the border to prevent terrorists from crossing the border, as many have, and many will continue to do so as long as our southern border is wide open. And many of the immigration programs, whether it's the H-1B visas or the student visas and so forth, they are rife with fraud and abuse, and terrorists have gone through them many times. And there's a very chilling statistic, actually, that for the student visas, that so many of them, like the Department of Homeland Security, FBI, they can't track them. It's like these people come in, and a lot of them are from like high-risk countries like Saudi Pakistan, and so forth, and they come to the country and they
Yeah,
just
we don't know where they are.
I mean, that is literally playing with fire when you're doing that. And so that's why Trump's Muslim ban, while I don't agree with it, it resonates with a lot of people because of terrorism and the fact that most terrorists, I mean, I think Rick Santorum had a good one where he said, like, you know, most, what was it? It was like most Muslims aren't terrorists, but most terrorists are jihadists, basically. And that's true. That's why Muslim ban does resonate with a lot of people. Now, I think the better solution is Rand Paul's bill, which was you put a pause in immigration from Islamic countries. That, I think, is a better solution, and I should point out that Rubio voted against that, which should show that he's not serious on this issue. And so, yeah, I really think terrorism is absolutely a big part of why immigration is such a key issue.
Did you want to weigh in on that?
Well said, man. Yep, that's exactly right.
All right, so we're kind of winding down here, so I just kind of wanted to do a little fun thing before I go and look at comments, which I don't think we got very many this time around. But which were your guys' favorite moments from the debates? Because there have been some really funny moments, and I wanted to hear.
Well, I actually wrote an article.
Like
one of the pieces I wrote yesterday was the top 10 quotes from the debate. So I think number one quote I had on there was Cruz mocking Trump and be like, let me just say, everybody on the stage here is stupid, a bunch of losers. Dr. Carson, you're a terrible neurosurgeon. Now they're Trump out of the way. That was my favorite moment. And I also really like Rubio being like, you know, it's like Bernie Sanders would be a great president of Sweden. And then Rubio saying that Hillary would pardon herself as president. I think those are my favorite lines from the debate, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I liked when Cruz took on everyone. This wasn't the last debate. This was a couple of debates ago when Cruz just took on the media and everyone for all the attacks. I thought that was a good moment, and people really liked that. Carly Fiorina had a good moment too, which I love Carly Fiorina. I just wish she just doesn't have the appeal. But yeah. I really do like Carly Fiorina. I love when she attacks Hillary. I love when she says she's more fit for the big house than the White House. I love it. I just eat it up. I love it every time. She's wonderful, but she's obviously not going anywhere. And she tore down. I think it was Mark McCallum was asking the questions in the undercard debate the last time around, and she said something to Rick Santorum like, "Why weren't you at the March for Life?" And Carly just attacked her and was like, "Are you questioning Rick Santorum's, I
know about
like
things,
he went to
right?
personal thing. Yeah, like get the heck out of here." So I'm a big fan of Carly. I like Carly's lines a lot too.
So am I. I was disappointed that she didn't go further than he has, but when she came to the first time she was in the main stage debate or whatever we call that one, she just ripped apart the whole thing with Planned Parenthood. I was like, "You go, woman! Oh my gosh!"
Oh yeah,
that's exactly what I would have wanted to say, and she said it. It was amazing. I mean, Cruz touched on it a little bit, but nowhere near with the level of anger and passion that she did, and she just embodied everything I've been dying to say for so long. So that was my favorite moment. And then I loved it when Cruz said, "I'm going to build a wall and I'm going to make Donald pay for it."
Oh yeah, that was a good one too. Yeah.
All right, so let's look over here and see if we got any comments. I don't think we got a lot of live watchers, but I can definitely assure you we will get a lot of people watching this afterwards because my Jewish friends were yelling at me and saying, "Why are you doing this on a Saturday when we can't watch it?"
Oh yeah, that's yeah.
Right.
Speaking of which, do either of you guys know who @Hamish Khan is on Twitter, and is he a guy or a girl? Because I think it's a guy, but it's kind of been.
I think it's a guy too, but I mean, I have no idea. I just see a Twitter account. That's it.
Yeah, it's kind of a fun Twitter game to try and figure out whether
it is. Yeah.
But
I think that's the point too. I think if it is a he, it wants to keep us all guessing about he or his or her true identity.
Maybe they're gender neutral.
Yeah, maybe. You know, it's like now like XC or XCR now as they try and say like
come on guys, with the times, all right? Not everyone's cisgendered like you guys.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly. Yeah, those.
If we misgender at Hamish Khan, then he'll send us home in an ambulance or whatever.
That's right. Like I mean, like he/she/whatever, whomever. It could be anywhere. So it's like you never know. Where he might be.
Yeah, exactly.
Or whatever.
Okay, so that was your shout out at Hamish Khan. I hope you appreciate it. And we didn't get any comments except from Harry, and he's got a last name that I just can't pronounce, so I'm not even going to try. But his Twitter handle is at Harry1T6, so you guys can go follow him. And then for my next live stream, I'm really, really hoping, I haven't told him this yet, but I really, really want to get at Sean_A to come on and talk, because he runs a Twitter site very similar to mine. And so I just wanted to give him a quick shout out. And then I really wanted to thank Milo Yiannopoulos, which I don't work for him, but I have spoken to him on occasion. And he almost wrote an article for me, and I really appreciate that. So I wanted to give him a shout out.
Almost.
Thank you, Milo, for teaching me how to do this. So, and you guys, if you have anybody you want to shout out, because I love doing shout outs. This is how you get followers on Twitter, by the way. You give them shout outs a lot. They love it. So give people shout outs.
Oh yeah. I'll just give you a shout out. You have so many followers, and you're just the queen of social media.
I'll
shout out to Warrior Woman.
Yeah. Like I need any more. No, I'm all mad because my goal was to get 100,000 by the end of the year, and obviously that didn't happen. Okay. All right,
yeah, I'm trying to hit 2,000. So.
Okay, and so we can, everybody, I'm going to give a shout out to our wonderful guests here. You can follow Amanda at Amanda Presto, and you can follow Aaron at Bandler's Banter. And they automatically populate now when I type them in on Twitter because they're just amazing. So you guys go, and what's the Daily Wire Twitter handle? Is it Real Daily Wire?
Yeah, it's at Real Daily Wire. Yeah, please give them a follow and check out the amazing content on the site.
Yeah, absolutely. Follow Ben Shapiro.
Yes, follow Ben Shapiro. Follow the other writers too. Follow Partis Saleh, follow Josh Jasmine, follow Michael Casvini. Give them all a follow. They're all cool people. They have interesting stuff to say.
Yes.
As well as us too.
There you go.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so that's pretty much all I've got for you guys today. We didn't go quite the hour and a half, but we definitely hit an hour. And I would love to have you guys back if you ever want to come back.
Yeah, anytime.
Wonderful time.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah,
thank you
so much.
Yeah, thank you for doing this. Anytime. I'm always happy to do this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you again.
We are going to go off the air right now. So see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.